Well, Dave, you know that my impendent contract status um has reached an end. My contract with AEW is set to expire tomorrow, the 28th. And today, of course, is the 27th. So I wanted to address that matter. And Tony Khan said at the press conference that um, he was very happy and proud of what we did together. And I feel exactly the same way. I appreciate everything that happened at AEW with Tony Khan and the Khan family. I had a great experience, and I do feel like that it's time for me to take more time to handle themarkhenry.com and the Remarkable brand, and focus that attention on what my next steps are. Um, and I am not going to be renewing my deal. And I think that, it's a mutual thing. If I can't dedicate 100% of myself, then, it's only fair for both parties to end the relationship on a positive note. And like I said, it's been nothing but positive. Um, I've done my best to help as many people as I could. Um, there was still some things that I wanted to help with that I didn't get to finish, but those people have my phone number, and anytime that they need to call me, I'm available for them. I am not leaving pro wrestling. Um, what I'm saying is that I'm going to take some time um, to work on some projects, and I'm gonna come back again full force because that's what I do.
A lot of the great work that you did, fans don't really get to see, and that is what you did with community service and how you built the community service within the walls of AEW and the outreach programs in each and every city. I mean, that's something, Mark, that I know as your friend, that's something when you went to AEW was the most important thing that you were going to be a part of
Yeah,
is those outreach programs and being part of charities and going to schools and helping the people who needed it. Um,
yeah,
what you have done for community service, pretty much, pretty much you are the foundation of the structure of the community service program within AEW. And I know you did that hand in hand with Tony Khan, but you're that recognizable face that everybody knows, and you've done some great work and helped a lot of people. So thank you for that, and thank you for what you've been able to do in every city that AEW goes to. The other thing, Mark, and I've seen this firsthand because I've been there and I've seen it, what you've done with and helped with a lot of the wrestlers in that locker room. I've seen it firsthand. And a lot of that is not just like, all right, let's sit down. The advice that you give. People, I have seen wrestlers passing through and then stopping and talking to you, asking for advice before and after a match. I've seen a lot of wrestlers talking to you after their match, getting your feedback. Maybe not as much as I wish I would have been able to say, but definitely the people that wanted it, you gave it to them. And I'll use an example, if you don't mind, Powerhouse Hobbs. That's somebody that for a while was attached to your hip because, he knows how much experience that you have. And I saw you do it in the WWE with great success. As a matter of fact, even as far as like a Samantha Irvin, in a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet, giving you your flowers about how much you did to get her just in the door with the WWE. I saw you do that in AEW as well. Those are things, Mark, giving experience, giving guidance, and giving help to the wrestlers. the outreach program and things that you've done for charity and for community service. Those are things that a lot of fans don't get to see, but really helps in the foundation of a very young company like AEW. So I've seen that firsthand. So I will say this, and I'm not just saying this because you're my co-host, and I'm not just saying this because you're a very good friend of mine, a brother, is that, man, you are a big reason for the foundation of this very young company. So as a fan of AEW, I want to first and foremost thank you for everything that you've given to AEW at a time in a young infancy of the structure of this company that needed it, and you were able there to supply it. So thank you for that.
You know what, Dave? Thank you so much, and I'm going to accept my flowers. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take it. I told you, you pat me on the back. That's a good time. I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed what I did. Tony Khan allowed me to do things that I never tried. I never did announcing before. I never did introductions or backstages before. It was on-the-job training. And I appreciate Tony Schiavone and Excalibur and Taz, like for, the mentorship. And Jim Ross. Man, listen, Jim, get well, man.
Yeah, please.
Like, we thinking about you, praying for you. We want you to get well and get back so you can keep entertaining us the way that we've been entertained all this time. There's the backstage staff. I appreciate all of you guys. There's some people that, I won't see unless, you come to a show and I show up and just come say hi to everybody. But just so you know, you are well thought of. Mike Mansouri, Koshe, Stevie, Topher. Appreciate all of you guys for the help and the mentorship. Taz, man, like all the coaches, there's like 30 of them. Y'all know who y'all are. Every one of those coaches over there bust their ass, guys. They love those guys and girls, and they want to make sure that they have all the knowledge that they can bestow on them. And I just ask the talent, continue to listen, continue to try to get better every day. That's the ultimate goal. I tell my son Jacob all the time, 1% better every day. What are we better at today than we were yesterday? Are we resting more? Are we eating better? Are we focusing? Are we sacrificing? Whatever it is you need to do, work on. Keep doing it. And like I said, I got things that I need to work on. I got a kid going to college. Like, there's a lot going on. But like I said, I'm not completely done with pro wrestling. But there are some things that I could not do because of my obligation to AEW. And I gave them my full attention. And now I can't do that. And I respect that company. I appreciate that company. And, if Tony needed me, he knows my number. He would call me in a heartbeat. That being said, I want to put to rest any health concerns. I am fine. Like, this is probably about the best health that I've been in years. There's still stuff I need to work on, but it's getting done. And guys, I am so happy. This is one of the best times of my life, and I'm looking forward for the rest of it. And there's a lot of things that I want to do, and I'm going to get a chance to do those things now.
Yeah, and Mark, I'm happy for you as my friend. I'm happy, and I can't wait to see what's next in the chapter of the book of Mark Henry, because it's a big one, and there's been a lot of accomplishments, and I think your time in AEW is definitely one of them. I just wanted to make it clear because, like I said, a lot of what you are due and what you've accomplished in AEW, fans don't get to see. But honestly, that work shows on the microphone and in the ring with certain talents that you got to work with hand in hand, and those who reached out to you. And then, you know what, Mark, like you talked about the announcing, you know, one of the biggest moments in AEW history was the return of CM Punk on Rampage. You were on the commentating table during that big, huge moment where, you know, CM Punk came back to wrestling after a decade. The other thing, too, and it was a T-shirt, and it was people chanted it in arenas all across the country, and it's time for the main event. Like when you would do the interviews with the opponents going into the main event on Rampage, and then you did the "It's time for the main event." That was cool. That was something that people loved to chant. That was I think a component going into the main event on Rampage. But that's kind of just like the cherry on top. That's just kind of the sugar on the donut. The meat and potatoes of what you did with AEW was the stuff you did with AEW behind the scenes. And I will say this selfishly, I think AEW is going to miss that, because it's the intangibles that you need, and you presented a lot of those intangibles to a lot of the talent. I hope they learned it, but I think you're going to be sorely missed within the walls of that structure of that company. But Mark, that being said, I'm very excited about what's next in your future.
And Dave also, excuse me, sidebar, on July the 21st, A&E will be releasing the documentary of my life story of Mark Henry. And it's been a long time coming. There was one done about 12 years ago. And 12 years ago, as we know, a lot has happened since then.
Yep.
But also the one 12 years ago didn't go back to the beginning, to my hometown, to my high school, to, you know, my troubles as a young kid. This one does. So the A&E documentary is going to be incredible. And all the people that supported me along the way, I shouted them out. And that's the thing that I think I love the most.
Have you been able to see the finished product? Were you able to see?
I did, and very proud of it. People gonna know stuff about me that I didn't ever think that I would be ready to tell. But obviously, because I saw it on film, I spilled the beans. So it's some people gonna know me better.
Yeah, and Mark, we put your words out there on social media, your announcement, so that it comes directly from you. So there's no speculation of what this announcement's going to be. So that's out there on social media, because I think, like what you just said, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter with you. And I'm glad, Mark, selfishly as well, that you're not done with pro wrestling, and obviously not done with Busted Open. So what's that next chapter going to be? We'll find out. That's why you got to follow him here. And again, you know, what you're doing with, you know, your brand. And I'm looking forward to that as well, Mark. So looking forward to what's next in this already legendary career of Mark Henry.